shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got.
All right. How many are reminded, even by that song, that you can't be stopped? This is a shout out and an opportunity for young people, teenagers, children, and parents, and even youth leaders to be reminded that we have a lot of folks that are resilient. They have survived things that you have no idea what they've had to walk through to get where they are. This show is to encourage you, to lift you up, to give you strategies, and to give you tools to use where you can get through anything in life. You can't be stopped. Y'all need to tell everybody that whatever comes your way, okay, you missed the bus today. Whatever comes your way, you don't have enough clothes to make it to back and forth to school. You can't be stopped. So once again, this show is to remind you and to be an encouragement. Join us as we will have special guests connecting to resources and information for you to get through the hardest years of your life and make the best out of it. You can't stop me. Hi, welcome to You Can't Stop Me with Yo, and we are doing a special pre-recording. I told you because sometimes my guests have so many other things going on. We have to be accommodating because they are VIPs. Don't ever get it twisted. They are VIPs, and trust, it is my pleasure to be able to have them carve out some time to be able to share information with you all. Again, this is You Can't Stop Me with Yo, and I have in my studio today Mr. Hayes. And we are going to talk about a lot of things. So I have had the pleasure of working with him, but I think I love his wife, absolutely. Probably not more than him, but I just absolutely love her. So this is, I just thought about that. That's a rare thing when somebody gets to work with both of y'all.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't realize you all were married until I was doing something outside at Southeastern, and you pulled up early in the morning to go into the building. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, he came to help us. Hold on. That's how I was looking. And then you put your bag on your shoulder, your gym bag. And I said, don't look like he's going to be out here helping us.
Right.
And then he said, hey, yo, how you doing? And then she got out the car. I said, oh, hey. And then I realized you guys were married.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the coolest thing because she's been always one of my favorite people.
Yeah. And
in
actually,
the whole wide world.
I believe that day me and my wife did a mentoring program.
That's what was going on. Yeah.
And so because of we did it during the school day, and we were taking kids out of class, and they were missing class. So we were definitely big on academics.
Wow.
So we said, you know what, we're gonna do it on Saturday.
Did this on your own.
Just did it on our own.
Really?
Yep. And I believe that class we had probably about 15 graduates of the Real Men, Real Women mentoring program.
Wow.
And so and the dynamic was that it was both of us.
So you did it jointly?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know that because, I was outside. We had a bunch of stuff going on out there. Mm-hmm. So talk about Real Men, Real Women?
Yeah, Real Men, Real Women.
Talk about that for a little bit.
We, years ago, I
Can we give a shout out to her?
Yeah, my wife, my beautiful wife.
That's it.
Chinese Hayes.
Hey.
Hey. Years ago, I was coaching basketball at University Prep Academy. And one of the building leads at that time, Lori Johnson,
Lori Johnson,
yeah.
yes.
She just got married too.
Did she?
Yep, she just got married.
Congratulations,
Absolutely.
Lori.
Yep. Praise
she
God.
so deserves it.
Yeah.
Sweet person.
Yeah, so
her sister looks just like her. That was that.
Like twins.
Did that jack you up too?
Yes.
Because I thought it was Lori at first.
A lot, even the kids.
Did they?
They thought she was Principal Johnson.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Right.
Y'all had to be there.
No, but so she asked me. She said, "Hey," she said, "There's about 4 or 5 young men." That are struggling, that are seniors, and they're not going to graduate. She said, so I'm asking you because I see how you work with the basketball team and, and your leadership. Yeah, she was like, do you mind working with these guys? And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. So, we would meet during their lunch hours over at University Prep, and, they were just on the verge of not graduating. One was coming to school, high at the time. He had a drinking problem.
Wow.
Other
in
was
high
just
school.
This was high school.
And that's why I tell people all the time, please don't lose your thought, but that's why I tell people all the time, don't make any assumptions about what these kids are walking through and dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
And just assume they just don't want to be at school and don't want to learn.
No,
Most of them are dealing with adult stuff.
Absolutely, and they're in survival mode. You know, so I met with these gentlemen for about a good 6 to 8 weeks, and several of them ended up graduating. So that lit something up under my butt and in my belly about, man, mentoring, right? So God had placed on my heart when I was in college this symbol, and it was a symbol of a man's head, right? And I was like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna make this clothing line, and I'm gonna put these clothing line out there and all this type of stuff. That never came to pass. And so the shape of the man head is just a universal shape of a man head God gave me, right? So I said, you know what? As I started serving in the kingdom, and I was like, man, God is looking for real men, right? He's looking for righteous, edified, authentic, and loving men, right, to step up and lead. So I started Real Men based off of that.
People don't talk like that no more.
No, they don't. It's unfortunate, but I do, you know. And so I started Real Men. I started doing that with those young men.
But how long ago was this?
This was, let me see, my daughter graduated 2010, so this happened probably 2008.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And so as I started that there, I ended up transitioning, going to Midtown Academy, and then I ended up at Southeastern. And so that's when
and you continued the program.
Right, continued the program, and I added my wife to it, so Real Women. So not only were the young men getting the male aspect of it, the young women was getting the female aspect of it, and then sometimes we would reverse. So my wife would mentor the men, young men, and then I would mentor the young women.
Did this come about? So I'm often curious how kids get connected to the right people like this.
Right.
So were some of them referred? Were some of them like you in the hallway? You like, dude, y'all need to see me on Saturday.
Right.
I need you to come on Saturday. How did it?
Right.
How did they get to people like you?
First year we asked teachers to refer students.
All right.
You know, I was looking for the tier 3 students that were struggling with academics,
very good,
struggling with behavior,
very
as
good.
well as attendance.
Very good.
And so that was the motivational piece to get them to school. And so that first year at Southeastern, we had
Is
about
that way you address attendance if you could get them engaged?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good.
And so now that they have that they see that someone cares, Mr. Hayes care. Now these kids are starting to come to school. And so then the accountability piece comes into play. Now I can monitor them with their academics while they're in class.
Because you have access to them.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we were able to affect at least 25 young kids, and then we had this graduation ceremony, you know, and this was all free. We didn't ask a dime for the school. We didn't get paid from the school. We didn't, nothing like that. Everything we did.
And this is outside of, so don't lose your place. But it's so much more we need to be doing, and it's just not enough anymore to just wake up, go to your jobs, come home, and just take care of your kids. It's just not enough.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
And I think people forget people did it for us. Somebody gave up something for us to get some of the pieces we got that we needed in our life right now.
Absolutely.
And so tell people, you're married, some of the other things you do, how many kids y'all have, because you got your own kids that you got to get back and forth to school and pick up.
Absolutely.
Because I think sometimes, Hayes, people take that as an explanation as for why they won't give all or do more.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I got my own, but we already ain't getting home to such and such.
Right. Wow. Man, we here all night. Been married, it'll be 16 years this year, September.
Wow.
We have 7 children.
Wow.
I had my first daughter as a junior in high school. Me and my wife have 2, so I had 5 outside of marriage.
Wow.
They're all doing wonderful.
Wow.
Graduated college. My Deja, my second oldest daughter is getting her master's now at Eastern.
Wow.
My oldest son is at Michigan State University, going into his junior year. He just finished his sophomore year. Daily, right. My second oldest son, because I got 4 girls and 3 boys. My second oldest son, Dalen, is at Notre Dame playing football.
Cool.
He was number 1 linebacker in the state
Wow.
when he came out, and so he's doing excellent, going into his second semester sophomore year in the fall. So he graduated high school early. And so then we have Chidera at home. She's a freshman at Detroit School of Performing Arts.
Awesome.
You know, majoring in drama
Awesome.
and theater. And then Xavier, who's 12 years old, and he's
Who I
at
had the
University Prep.
pleasure.
Right? Yep. And he just got accepted to UAD Jesuit. So, you know, we got to
Awesome.
figure out how we going to make this happen.
We're going to make
You know
it
what I'm saying?
happen.
God's will,
You hear
God
me?
bill,
We're
right?
going to make it happen. We just talked about that.
Right.
He gives
Absolutely.
us the tool. So I brought that up to say, you know, you're talking about somebody who takes on extra, not just you, but your family, for somebody else's kids. And, you know, my goal is to make people uncomfortable. I'm going to be honest with you, because I think sometimes when people can continue to drive by and, yeah, you're right, and turn their heads and act like, well, they're not mine, you know, we got to be uncomfortable. I just don't think it's enough for us to just do what's in front of us and just consume our life and not give anything back. And I'm not, we use the word mentoring, but everybody's not going to have access to going to school. And some of y'all not prepared because y'all ain't loving enough. Let me just say that. I meant ain't in every sense of the word, loving, tolerable, and kind enough, because you cannot reciprocate what sometimes they give you, because, you know, anyway, my point in bringing that up, everybody has something they can give.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a million times it would have been helpful if somebody could have just went to go get the pizza. Do you know what I'm saying? Just the little stuff. Or maybe you don't have the time, but you know what? I'm going to donate $50 a month for you to get snacks. I know I would have appreciated that with programs that I was running, so it didn't have to come off my grocery bill.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have to be my gas money.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be my personal lunch money. I did it. I have no regrets. I do it all over again. But it would have just been great if somebody would have just said, yo, for when you need it.
Right.
You know, because I don't have the time, but I know the need is there.
Yeah.
So everybody has something that they can give.
Absolutely.
But what drives you all to do the extra? I know you don't think about it. I know it's not for anybody to even make reference of, even in our conversation today. But I want somebody to be uncomfortable after they hear us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what drives me is, and it's interesting because I come from a background of athletics. So I'm an entertainer. I was an entertainer. You know, I played basketball at Iowa State University.
No, I'm pulling it together,
You know.
that winning basketball team. I don't know if you saw my post. I got some
I spot
people
up
I'm
and shoot
trying
now.
to take down. I don't see you gonna do that.
Yeah, I can spot up and shoot. I can play a little bit, but I ain't going. You know,
Somebody else rebounding. I ain't falling.
Right.
So we on the same place. We really are.
Yep. So, but I come from that background of entertaining, and I've always, you know, loved doing camps, you know, for the young kids. At Iowa State University, and then when I transferred back home, played for Perry Watson, who was my high school coach at Southwestern High School. Just giving back to the community.
Was sports the thing that kind of saved you a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. My mother struggled with addiction. My father was not in the household. They divorced when I was 1. You know, I could have went that route, you know, but, you know, because of Perry Watson, like you say, we have mentors in our life, people.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my 9th grade year, I didn't want to play basketball. You know, I left school, went home. I was obviously trying to be a ladies' man because, like I said, I had my first daughter my junior year, but the phone rang. And when I picked up the phone, it was Coach Watson. Like, hey, what you doing at home?
Really?
I was like, he said, man, I see you in 15 minutes. So I left the house, jumped on the 4th Street bus, shot straight up 4th Street, went back to Southwestern, and I was in practice. My brother was like, I told you. So ever since then, ever since then.
What grade was that?
This was my 9th grade year.
So you remember?
Yeah. Yep. And so it was
Somebody
because of that.
doing beyond what they do on a day-to-day basis, but picking up the phone.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to go after people.
You do.
You
You
know.
do. Yep, you do. You got to stay in
So
contact,
talk about
man.
some of the kids that you've gone after. And
Oh man, we
Just
it's
the impact. I know.
It's a host
I
of
know.
kids. You know, I'm friends with them on Facebook. You know, some of
Yeah.
them still be wilding, but you know, they, Mr. Hayes, you know, I thank you for telling me to get out them hallways and get to class,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
Mr. Hayes, thank you. You know, I had a young man, you know, at University Prep, who, you know, during Thanksgiving needed some food, you know, and my church at the time, Life Changers on the west side, you know, had Thanksgiving baskets. So I would go get them and take them to them. You know, it's It's a lot. It's a lot, you know. And some of them are grown, some of them are married, some of them have kids right now, you know, and then some still struggling. Some have lost, you know, I've lost in the shuffle. Some locked up. Some ain't here no more, you know. And so,
and I know you've probably been to a million funerals.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Those
it's
are the ones
unfortunate.
that, and you know, I was telling somebody we have. I've been to more funerals than I have weddings. There was a time when people were getting married left and right, and my concern is that if we don't do something different, so it's about to get warm, Hayes. I'm very intentional on you being my guest today because of some of the things that you're doing in your life, your family, but even on the professional side. You know, let's talk a little bit about how we prevent having to bury so many of our kids this summer and the other things that we can involve them in besides being too busy to do something with our kids, to do something for them.
Right. For me, what I understood when I took the job at Southeastern as a dean of students is, you know, I came with that mentality because, you know, which we were going to, I was a police officer for the city of Detroit. And so I came in with that mentality. Like, you know, I'm the police. Listen, you're going to do what I say do and X, Y, and Z, and we're going to be cool and you're going to get your education. I was quickly reminded of the fact of, you forgot where you are? You on Goethe and Bewick and Mac over here,
You
bro.
forgot.
You know, and so what I had to do was I had to say, you know what? I sat down and I thought, and I was like, man, how can I reach these kids? And, you know, God spoke to me and told me through relationships, right? There's a saying, discipline without relationship leads to disobedience, right? And so I said, man, I got to meet these kids where they are.
That's good.
So every morning I stood at the front
That's
door
good.
and I shook hands, high five, side hug, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to memorize and tried to build relationship with these kids as much as I could by knowing their name.
Not
when they
because you
come
were
in.
asked to, but because the need was to.
Absolutely, absolutely, because I had to build a relationship with them. So for Mr. Hayes to say, "Hey, get out out the hallway and get to class on time," or, you know, I need you to get to school on
That's
time.
right.
You
That's
know,
right.
they had to realize that I cared. You know, because they didn't care what I knew. They didn't care that the fact that I knew
I
that
was
if they
about
get
to
their
say that.
education,
That's right.
you know, there's a higher percentage chance that you become a functioning adult in the
That's
city
right.
of Detroit. You know,
They don't
you'll
care
be doing
about
something
statistics.
right. They don't care about all that. So so now I have to build
What's the
that
likelihood
relationship.
of me graduating, Mr. Hayes, if I attend school 99% of the time? Nobody talks like that. You know what I mean?
74%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, the likelihood, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, but so I had to build relationships, you know, and once I built those relationships, now students started to respond to Mr. Hayes, you know, and even with the police, being a police, you know, retired police officer, it was, you know, they were like, you know, Mr. Hayes, you're different. You know,
Really?
Yeah, they was like, you're different. You're not like the police. I was like, what do you mean? You know, so I had to educate them on that side of things as well. You know, and give them statistics and give them, you know, some type of understanding on the police side. Like, man, this is what they're here to do, and this is what
This
they
is
go
the
through.
law.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they don't know the law, and if it's 50% of the adults in the city of Detroit are functionally illiterate, what do you think their child is going to be?
And we still have challenges with people going to the polls to vote.
Come
so
on.
they don't really know a lot of the
Right.
policies and things that's being passed.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So now,
And especially the truancy piece.
right? Kids don't understand.
Because people think
They
you're just
don't
being
know.
picked. They're just picking on them.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, you have to go above and beyond, and you got to build these relationships, you know. And so now, you know, I transition out of the education field, and I'm a director of an after-school program called Say Detroit Play Center. And so I'm the director of culture, partnerships, and athletics at the
Okay.
center. You know,
Perfect match.
we partnered with Matthew Stafford and the Score 7 Foundation.
Okay.
He built a synthetic football field, Major League Baseball,
Wow.
the Illages,
Wow.
redid our baseball diamond. The Pistons, Tom Gores and Aaron
Wow.
Tellum, you know, personally gave money towards the center, and they remodeled our gymnasium.
center
This is
located?
at the old Lipke Community Center on the east side of Detroit, in between Outer Drive and 7 Mile off of Van Dyke,
Okay.
19320 Van Dyke.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we service kids ages 8, second grade through high school.
Wow.
You know, for membership, cost of membership is $0. They just have to bring their report card
Hold
right?
on.
Every semester. But
You talking about a brand new field
we talking about brand new state-of-the-art facility.
for free?
Oh, for free. Oh, you got to come by and check us out. It's beautiful.
For free.
It's for free. It's for free.
And so, what's like an average day there?
Average
Kid
day
comes
is
in at about
we
what
partner
time?
we partner with several schools in the community as well as in Midtown area where we pick up kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bring them to the center on their days. Second grade through sixth grade come Tuesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday and Wednesday. Seventh through high school come.
Oh, cool. So
And then
they're
on Friday,
separated.
so
Okay.
then on
That was
Friday
smart.
everybody come, right?
Yeah, that was smart.
And so a typical day is we pick the kids up, we bring them to the center.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately get a hot dinner, right? Mama Falls, director of the cafe. You know what I'm
Appreciate you.
saying? Right. Love you, Mama Falls. Love you, Mama Falls. You know, and so she cooks for the kids. All of our food is donated by Detroit Rescue Mission Ministry.
Wow.
You know, so they get a hot meal, right? After they eat their hot meal, 30 minutes, you know, they kick it in the gym a little bit. At 4 o'clock, they go into the DEEP, which is our Digital Educational Enrichment Program. Another cost for requirement to be a member is they have to do an hour of tutoring or homework help.
That's fair. Because everybody can do that.
Right.
That doesn't cost anything.
Costs
so
nothing.
it leaves nobody out.
That's
Basically.
That's 1 hour.
You just leverage the playing field.
Right.
Nobody gets left out.
1 hour, 2 hours a week
Wow.
to be a member in the center, right?
Ooh,
So
where were
then
y'all
you got
at
to
when I had
attend.
my babies in
Right.
school?
then you have to attend the center 3 days a week, right? Statistics say that, you know, if you are around a kid or you can effectively positively influence a child after 30 days, right?
Yes.
So that's our goal, to get kids to our center for 30 days and even more. Because once they come and once parents see what we're doing and they see that we're a training center, we're not a community center, right? We're not a just drop off baby center.
They
I
not
always
used to
tell
that. You
parents,
know that, right?
man, I tell people all the time, if your son or daughter comes here, from the time they come, if they enroll at the beginning of our year, which is in August, and leave in July, if that child don't leave with a skill set,
Wow.
we've done them and you disservice, right? So we're a training center. So you come in, and our goal is to develop great readers and great people.
Good.
Great readers is in that deep.
Awesome.
Right,
Good.
so they're doing that one-on-one reading tutoring. Miss Janelle Mansfield is our director of our DEEP, and she's doing an awesome job where they are doing a reading program where they have a one-on-one reading tutoring on Tuesdays and Thursdays
Wow.
to help get those kids to grade level and beyond and above, rather.
Wow.
You know, and the incoming ninth graders are reading at a third, fourth grade level
Wow.
in our city. You know, so if we can get their reading comprehension up, you know, we can at least make a dent.
Hey, there's
You know
so
what I'm saying,
many
in the
things that's
literacy
going
rate.
through my mind while you're talking. The guys who need to go after their kids, you know, who need to make sure they fight to stay involved in their kids' lives somehow. To parents who are not taking advantage of resources that's obviously available for them.
Right.
Because you guys are not specific to certain neighborhoods, are you?
No.
So they
We can
can
go
come.
across. We trying to partner with Warren Academy,
Really?
Michigan Math and Science, which is in what's that?
Redford?
Right across. That's Warren.
Warren, okay.
Right, Warren and I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue, but just
Wow.
north of 8 Mile, in between 696. What's that in the city? I can't think of the name, but
Dearborn?
no.
Oh, you said 696.
Yeah, 696. Yeah, 696.
Fraser?
Van Dyke. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Harper
but
Woods,
yeah,
East
we're
Point.
all over there. You know, we
Wow.
got kids coming from Harper Woods. We got kids coming from Warren Academy. We got kids University Prep.
there's really
we
no
got
excuse.
Jalen Rose Academy. We got Legacy.
And then
We
how
got-
late are y'all open at night?
We're there to about 8 o'clock. We got Lego robotics teams in the building, and you know
wish.
they're done at 8 o'clock at night. So we have partnership programs as well
So
inside the
kids
building.
don't have to be sitting at home doing nothing.
No, and you'd be surprised because we renovated the park, right? So
Yeah.
we have that park right there, that little playscape and everything like that. You'd be surprised that parents would bring their kids to that park and would not walk them inside the building and see what we got going on.
That close.
That close. I go outside and be like, I need your kids to be inside my center. Why aren't they inside my center? Oh, what y'all got going on? So then I bring them in there, and it's like a light bulb go off. Man, you know, it's not like we're safe. Every volunteer, every person in there,
got
background check.
clearances, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? We got about 25 cameras around there.
So what keeps
I'm
people
playing.
from taking advantage of stuff? It's like you bring it right to them, but you can't make them drink it.
Right. If I knew it, we'd all be millionaires.
You know?
You know, I don't know.
And it's
you know,
free.
And it's free. It's free.
So if you could just tell them again the name and the location. Are there any specific programs that's going on right now? What do parents have to do to get their kids registered?
It's open registration. Right now we're selecting about 45 kids for the summer.
Okay.
We're partnering with the City of Detroit and the GDYT program, Grow Detroit Youth Talent Program. Last year, the Pistons paid for the salaries for our high school kids, 8th grade and up, to come and work at our center.
Okay.
So we put them to work in the community, cutting grass, doing things like that. And then they also have to do that academic over the summer.
Cool.
So we did SAT prep.
Cool.
Then we went on 5 college tours. We went to Michigan State, Grand Valley. They went to UAD, Wayne State. And this year we want to add, a historical black college tour.
That would be
doing
awesome.
2 or 3 tours. So all this is free,
Wow.
right? And so our younger
I
kids,
still can't believe that.
right? And so those kids that are in the GDYT program is going to be like our camp counselors this summer.
This is the stuff you get at a YMCA.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And you know
in
you
the
paying,
suburbs,
you knew where I was going with that.
Yeah.
And you know you're paying some money.
big time. And the kids come in the morning. We're going to have a health kind of a curriculum, right? Where we're doing probably about 35, 40 minutes of health and wellness. We're going to use the Michigan standard, health and wellness for our kids. It's a little curriculum that we're going to order, and we're going to go through about 35 minutes of academic, understanding your body, understanding about STDs, understanding
Because they
about-
don't do that in schools anymore.
They
We used
don't.
to have the health departments, and the gym teachers used to teach you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yep. So they don't do that anymore. So now we're going to provide that, and then we're going to do a physical activity.
Awesome.
And then we're going to go to lunch, and then in the afternoon, the younger kids are going to be in the summer success
Awesome.
program.
Awesome.
So, so they're there from, let's say, 10 in the morning to probably about 3 in the afternoon. It's a summer program for about 45 kids, plus the GDYT kids program. So you're figuring about 80 kids, in our center over the summer, 8-week program.
Wow.
And then, I can't forget about our athletics. So, right, we want to develop young great people. So we got all our athletic programs. Football is coming up.
This
right?
is
We got a
still for
camp
free.
June 10th. Yeah, this is free.
For the summer.
Right, for the summer. We got June 10th, our football camp, open registration right now for our kids. Right. If you're a member, if you're not a member, it costs $25. If you're a member, it's free. Right. So you get ready for the fall. Baseball is going on right now. Basketball, I'm taking about 25 to 30 kids up to Lansing for the Moneyball shootout this weekend coming up. Oh, man, we're rolling. We got Notes for Notes, which is a national recording studio in the inside, nonprofit, funded by the Country Music Association. No, full-blown recording, look like Guitar Center up in there. Kids get to write music, engineer music, create music, beat machine, learn how to play the guitar, learn how to play ukulele. Got volunteers coming in. All the tools are in there for free. We got three Lego robotics
Y'all
team.
take grown-ups.
Science in the deep. We got Cooper Standard,
I
Dow
know.
Chemical coming in. So we got a lot. We got digital art program. We got Real Life My Music, which is our art program as well as our dance program. We got karate in the building right now. We got all these different resources, like you said,
I just
for
can't
free.
believe that.
The only thing they have to do is commit
yeah.
to get a 3.0 or better. I don't mean they have
Bring their
it.
report card.
They got to bring their report card, do an hour in the deep the days
That's
that they
it.
come, and set goals. And the goal setting piece is easy because in your program, in my basketball program, we got a goal, right? You're going to learn how
Your
to
goal
dribble
is
with your
my
left
goal.
hand. Right. You're going to learn how to dribble with your left hand by the end of the season. That's a goal. And what I've learned is instead of kids shooting for those unrealistic
That's
goals,
right.
we
That's
want
right.
some smart goals.
That's right.
Some specific, measurable,
That's good.
attainable, realistic,
Yes.
and time-sensitive goals.
Yes.
Something that they can get a habit of achieving.
That's good.
Right? So once they're in the habit of achieving, now their confidence
That's
builds.
right. That's
And
right.
they see that they can be successful. Because right now we're dealing with a generation that they don't even believe that they can even be successful.
And so I would like you to take a few moments and talk about just some of the situations that you've seen kids come from or be exposed to, and how having access to some of the right people in their life or programs like this, because you were doing some of this stuff beforehand, or programs like this, what impact is left on their life. I know that I can recall where you can almost see like the devil chasing some kids, You can almost see like the hand of the enemy literally on their neck, pulling them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that hour that you gave them might have spared their life.
Right,
and
right.
they don't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Even as an officer.
Oh man, it's a lot. You know, I've seen more, and I'm just gonna be honest. There's probably been more negative outcome than there has been positive.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you know, I try. You know, I pray. You know, I'm a man of faith. You know, but you know, eventually I had to tell one young man, "You're gonna have to walk this thing out." You know, I can't hold your hand through it. He didn't get it. You know, but then you have your success stories. You know, a young man started the center. You know, he was a senior at Osborne, and you know, was coming, kind of struggling a little bit academically, but he was coming to the center. He fell in love, you know, with one of our staff members, and you know, called Mama Johnson, Miss Johnson, who front desk operator, you know what I'm saying, manager, and he's in the military. And he sent the letter, and I got it in my office, you know, hey, Miss Johnson, Mr. Hayes, Mr. Tim Bush, you know, Miss Johnson, you know what I'm saying, and he just, you know, I just love you guys. I thank you guys for keeping me on the right path, and X, Y, here, I'm down here, you know, and he's in the military. He's doing good with himself, you know.
Who would have ever thought?
Right. You know, he came to the center on his prom before he could, you know, we could see his outfit.
Really?
Yeah. So we got a whole lot of those stories, you know, of kids coming in and just really love. And then I got parents, you know, with some of my young men on the basketball team. They're clowning in school, you know, and they come up to the center and they like, Mr. Hayes, he can't come back. And so I tell her, I say, you know what? Don't keep him away from the center. I say, I know how to give him a little physical activity.
That's good.
To keep his mind right.
That's good.
You know, I say, don't, you know, sometimes we want to punish the child by taking things away, you know what I'm saying, that's beneficial to them.
You know,
what we want to take away,
right,
what we want to take away is some of them things that he's taking advantage of that's at home.
Right. That's
like that phone.
Yeah.
You know, that internet, right.
Who's going to admit that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I tell them,
man, I tell them, I tell, you know, I don't know, some people might get mad at me, but I tell them, I'm like, look, take the sheets away off the bed.
Yeah. Oh, honey.
And be like, what you gonna sleep on?
Tell the truth.
Right?
Yeah.
Take your clothes away. Who washing them clothes? You know? And now you have to ask for these things.
Because what you took for granted.
Absolutely.
It's always a privilege.
It's always a privilege, man.
Wow.
I tell the kids, you know, especially when I did my readmit meetings at Southeastern, man, I would have a parent come in with their child, and I have their academic piece, their attendant piece, and their behavior piece, and I will go through it all, right? Because it, you know, it'll show up on paper why you clowning and why you acting up, right? And then I ask the kids all the time. I say, "Do you love your mother or do you love your grandmother?" You know, and they be like, "Yeah." And I be like, "Tell me how." You know, and they be like, "Because I love her. That's my mama." I said, "But tell me how you love your mama." You know, and they sit there and be like, "You know, I don't know." I said, "So you can't tell me how you love your parent?"
Wow.
I said, "Let me ask you this."
You don't show it.
So I asked him. So I'm like, when you go home, when you hit that light switch, do the light come on? You're like, yeah. I said, okay. When you go to that sink and you want to wash up, and you turn the hot water on, is it hot water? Yeah. Is it cold water? Yeah. I said, when you go to the refrigerator, is there some food up in there, boy?
Something in there.
You know what I'm saying? Something in there to eat? He be like, yeah. I said, your clothes, did you buy those? They be like, yeah. I say, well, that shows me and tells me that your parent loves you.
What
I said, so right. So
lately?
what have you done for your mom? You know what I'm saying? And so he or she would sit there and they'd be like, I'd say, so what are you responsible for? Your academics, your behavior when you come to school.
That's good.
That's your form of payment. That's your form of showing love.
Good.
Love is an action word.
That's good. Because you take them instantly to what they can do.
Absolutely.
Because young folks and kids are so quick to say, but I ain't got no job. I ain't got no money. But you have the ability to bring me your best.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, I take them there, man. I take them there. I challenge these kids, you know, and then on the flip side, I challenge parents too. You know, hey, listen, you know, here goes some key points or some ways that you can do to kind of get this young man or young woman, you know, thinking differently.
That's
you
good.
know,
That's
you can't be your friend. Can't be your friend. And, love you.
You know.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm confused.
I've seen,
Hayes, what I see nowadays.
Yeah.
Ooh, kids talking any type of way they want to their parents, and the parents is cool with it because that's how they talk to each other. Sometimes I've had to walk off because I'm like, I just can't be in the room.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Me being in the room is signing off on it.
Yeah,
I can't be in the room. And
watch that doesn't happen in my presence. It don't happen in my presence.
Yeah,
I tell them, man, you I wish you would be disrespectful to your parent. You know.
Yeah, this is. I mean, and as we are walking into for some, the latter portion of the school year, and it starts to get warm, you know, a lot of times parents don't understand what the schools deal with when the bell goes off and they pull off and they leave. But talk a little bit about really how parents can take a more active approach to making sure the kids get to school on time, especially when it starts to warm up. Like some of the stuff we see.
Yeah. I think one statistic came out for the average child loses about, they say 30 minutes of instruction time, right? They say when the child come to class, from the first 15 minutes is always, okay, let's get the kids down and settled before instruction happens, right? And then at the end, you got to break down and get them ready to leave.
That's right.
Right? So they said on average, a child misses about 30 minutes per class. It came out to be about 17 days for the whole entire year. So they're already off rip missing 17 days or instructional hours. I'm sorry, hours, right? 17 hours, you know, of instructional time per class, right? So, you
they're
know,
gonna fall short someplace
they're
after that.
Absolutely.
You can't
right?
have that missing and things not
You can't.
show up.
So
somewhere.
imagine the child that don't come to class until third hour. Imagine a child that
'Cause
gets
it was
suspended,
convenient.
right, because it's convenient. Imagine a child that gets suspended, you know, 4 or 5 times a year, 5, 10 days, 5, 10 days. They, you know, when I first got to Southeastern, they was, you know, give them 5 days. I'm like, give them 5 days for what?
That's a vacation.
Right. They want to go home.
Why would I come back?
Right. Give them 10. Give them, you know what I'm saying?
Don't give me 5 days away from them. I don't want you to come back.
Man, come on, man. So they, you know, just so as for parents, you know, it behooves you to get your child to school on time. You know, there's laws, you know, obviously things out there that's on the books, but you know, who's really doing all that?
And who should have to?
Right.
You should want your kids to be able to take full advantage of what they have access to as far as education for free.
I had a conversation the other day, and I'm like, a coworker was like, "Hey, I don't understand why people don't see the value of bettering yourself."
Nope.
Right?
It's competitive.
And so I
that's
told him,
about
I
all you
said,
see.
I was like, man, I said, look, I said, you can only fault a person for what they know. I said, if they've never been taught to do anything better or to do anything outside of what is normal to them, how can you hold them accountable? Because, and you've seen it, high school graduations right now became this thing where it looks like somebody either getting married.
A nightclub.
Right.
Yeah, I've never.
I mean, I've seen, smoke screen.
Smoke screen.
Girl walking
red
out,
carpet.
you know what I'm saying, red carpet. Oh man, they got the captain
You hear
chair,
me?
man, and the, you know what I'm saying, and it's like that's it. I've seen parents who haven't stepped foot in my building for a parent-teacher conference or anything, but graduation, they coming up in there trying to work, wondering why little Joe ain't graduating, why he got 9th grade credits.
Wow.
But you haven't been in the building, you know what I'm saying, for 4 years to check up on it. But
4 years.
But again, it goes back to what we
You
said
get
earlier.
a tune up on your car after so many miles.
Man, come on, man.
And
Come
an
on.
oil change to make sure it keeps running. Why we
Look.
don't give our man?
But when our adult illiteracy rate is 50%,
I gotta go there. Yeah. you're
come
right.
on.
You're right. It has an impact.
So our kids, you know, they're a product of their environment, but they don't have to be. It's a choice. You know, I don't like the word, I don't like the saying, and you hear it all the time. They say failure is not an option. Failure is an option because we got so many kids doing it. It's an option. How about it's just not an option you choose? How about that? Stop telling these kids that failure is not an option. It is an option.
Drop the mic on
Come
that
on
one.
now. You can't tell you can't tell me that it's not an option.
You're right.
When I look at the graduation rate.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And then it went up. They say it went up from, you know, in the last 10 years, it went up 2%.
Wow.
But guess what happened? The EAA came in and took, 6 high schools?
That's right.
Right? And then you got all these other charter schools that got about, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how many charter schools in the city of Detroit. But the EAA graduation rate is 58%. DPS graduation rate.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow. You're right. Yeah.
So it's an option that a lot of kids are accepting.
You're right.
How about we have to tell them, you know what, and teach them that we don't accept that option. We don't want to fail.
Ooh.
Let me show you how not to fail.
That's good. That's good.
And it starts with consistency.
That's good.
It starts with having the proper resources.
That's good.
Like say Detroit Play Center and
That's
many other
right.
community
That's
centers
right.
that's trying to do some things.
I'm still
it's
Florida's
about
for
getting
free.
right. It's about getting qualified individuals to run sustainable programs, meaningful programs, relevant programs. I'm not gonna do a crochet class in my center.
Because it's not relevant.
Come on now.
I know.
But you get a lot of people
I
coming
know.
in academically,
I know.
and it blows my mind.
I know. I know.
Has nothing to do with the culture and the setting that it's in, but I'm gonna bring it in because it sounds good.
And that's what I want to do.
Right.
So I want to remind people again, you're listening because I got to give him a chance to swallow.
Yeah.
Catch his breath because he got bad.
Right. Yeah, I'm passionate.
I
about this thing.
You're listening to You Can't Stop Me with Yo, and I have Mr. Hayes in the studio with me on today. And what's I think is really important about some of the things that he's sharing with you is that this is not specific to certain age groups. It's not specific to certain genders. The truth of the matter is all kids need to be engaged. They need caring people in their lives, and they need consistency.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, big time consistency. You know, we're seeing something that's probably, I haven't, maybe, I'm only 42, but in America, something is going on, right?
This is an
And so-
educational tsunami.
So it's
I said it before.
it's interesting to me.
Something is going on, brother.
It's
Yes.
interesting to me, and we can sit up and we can talk about conspiracy theories and things of that nature. But it's interesting to me because I've seen it personally, right? From the city of Detroit, product of the city of Detroit, children raised in the city of Detroit, right?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't until probably about 4 years ago that we moved out, right? And the reason why we moved out is because one, God blessed us enough to move out, right? Mm-hmm. But the real reason was I had a security alarm on my house. I had security doors on my front, back door, and garage door. My alarm was wired for security. My wife carried. I carried. I had 2 Rottweilers. I had a 6-foot privacy fence, right? This is in Midtown. This is downtown, Boulevard, you know what I'm saying? In between second and third, right? And so I was a prisoner in my own house. One night, my wife wasn't feeling well. So I said, you know what? Let's go to the store. Let's get you some medicine. Let's get you squared away. Went to a local store, around in my area.
Yes.
Walked outside.
Yes.
Went to walk in my vehicle. 3 young men was outside. And one reached out to grab my wife's purse. Right?
They didn't know.
They didn't know. I came back around so quick because I caught him out the corner of my eye. I didn't have my weapon
Thank
on
God.
me, thank God, and on him. And so he ended up jumping over my wife. And then, I almost chased him behind, a restaurant that was over there. But common sense came to me, like, let me get back to my wife, make sure she's all right. So God has blessed us. And so I say, man, it's time to go before I hurt somebody, right? I didn't get into what I did prior to education, but we kind of hit on. I was a Detroit police officer after I finished playing professional basketball in Europe. In 2005, 12
That's why I
years
want you on
ago,
my team.
right? 12 years ago, I was shot 6 times on duty.
6 times.
6, twice in the chest, the stomach, the hip, the lower left leg, and in my thigh.
Wow.
Was paralyzed from the knee down on my right leg, still is, right? Lost feeling. I don't have no feeling at the bottom of my right foot. Tear fib broke, lost my large intestines, and two hit my chest in my vest, right? And so, love my city. And the situation was something real silly. One young
Trivia.
man just tried to rob a McDonald's, but he never did do anything to the McDonald's, but took a young lady's cell phone. And so my goal ever since then, is not to be bitter. It's not that, saying, you know what, I ain't going to do nothing for my kid, nothing
That's
for
it.
my community, nothing for my culture. You know what,
it.
I want to stop the next person from thinking that.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Trying
that's
to
it.
take a police officer's life was the answer. And unfortunately, this young man didn't make it. Right? And so when you get back to, your original question, Hayes, why you do what you do is because what's going on in the world right now is real relevant. Right? I just spoke at the chaplain's corps, the new chaplain corps that's at the police department. And so I shared with them there are two, I think, prevalent practices that they need to do while they're doing these ride-alongs or they're chaplains for the police officers. One, they need to educate the police department, right? So you say, what that mean? That means educate these average officers, where the average officer now on the job is 2 to 3 years. Probably the most is 5.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
There's only 100, and there's probably about 1,500 officers on the job right now. Maybe less than that.
Ooh.
City size is what? Less than 600,000?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Wow.
Right? Most of the officers on the job don't look like me and you.
I agree.
And they're not from here. Right? Recipe for disaster. There's this balance. There's this pendulum right now swinging, right? You got police officers' violence on young black men across the country.
That's right.
And then now there's a war on police officers. And we're on the war on police officers. Since September, we've had 8 officers shot or killed in the line of duty here in our city.
Used to be unheard of.
Unheard of. Right? So we have to educate. And I said, you have to educate your officers that you're riding along about the community that they're serving in.
I like that.
Right? The academy is teaching you how to be the police.
That's good.
But how do you learn how to police the community?
That's good.
If you don't know the community that you're serving, it goes to education. How you gonna come into the city of Detroit?
Ooh, we just had this conversation.
You know
with
what I'm
some
saying?
folks
How you gonna come to the city of Detroit and educate our youth if you don't understand the culture that you're serving? It don't matter.
Ooh, if you don't know what has been done to educate them, so you don't come in here and repeat the same mistake, spend the same resources to try to get it done in their neighborhood.
Come on. But when you can take, which I don't understand, which is for, like I said,
half of it's not logical.
It's not even logical. It's not even relevant. It's not even relevant. It's not relevant. And then there's no consistency across the board, right? But if you go on the other side, north of 8 Mile, you know what I'm saying, and you go to suburbs, every high school, you can go from one high school to the next high school, they got the same textbook.
Right. That's right.
They got the same information.
That's
right? It used to be like that. I remember my brother's 9th grade teacher when I was going to 9th grade.
They can hand it down to you.
Exactly.
That's right. Or you get with your cousins, they come over on the weekend, and you're like, oh, I got that same book.
Exactly. What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? Where did that go? It worked. It still works for them. They got the highest SAT scores, you know what I'm saying, Lance Cruz, you know what I'm saying, in the state of Michigan. But yet and still, every inner city across America all of a sudden got this education reform, or we're this test tube, you know what I'm saying, of experimental education on our kids. We can be here all night, yo.
Bring back the days of yay and
come
nay,
on, man.
when we could plainly see our way.
Wow.
Whether it's up for us to choose, whether to win or lose. Bring back the time when we could see what it was we were to be. Caught up in the midst of complexity, we search for yay and nay.
Yeah.
That's all I kept hearing. I remember when life was so simple. It was just easy.
Yeah.
It was like you get up, you go to school, you're going to have the biggest fun. I remember we would even say it, we knew we were going to, and educators have an issue with this statement, mixing education and fun. But that's what we had when we went to school. School was fun. And you didn't have to force us to go because kids' DNA, their minds, their bodies is made for fun. And so if there's no fun involved, which we've taken out of schools, how do people expect kids to stay and
engage? Think about this,
it,
and you've probably seen it. Finland, if I think it was.
Yeah. Yep.
Cut the hours of academics,
Yep,
right?
They're doing it.
Cut hours.
Yep, they're doing it.
Increase you know what I'm saying, outside
They're doing it.
activities
That's right.
and less testing,
That's right.
and got some of the largest growth, if not probably the.
We
you know what
are
I'm saying?
scared to let our kids have fun. We
Oh.
scared that we're going to lose control over them. We are micromanaging them. We are preparing them for being in the penal system. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
We're going to have to shut it down in
Yeah.
about 4 more minutes. But I already know because, you know, we've both been too close to it and seen too much of it. You know, and okay, so we can tag team for a couple of seconds on this one. My biggest thing that bothers me the most, I had to get past gym recess, home ec, wood shop. I had to get past all that being gone. But the biggest part that really, really, really just destroys the creativity and the ability to make friendships and fix them when you break them is lunchtime. We are down to 18 to 22 minutes per lunch period. Some start as early as 10:20 in the morning and as late as 10:40 in the afternoon. And then I hear people say, "Y'all be quiet. Y'all too loud in here."
Let me
There's
share this
nowhere
with
to
you.
socialize. I know.
Let me share this with you. My son just had detention.
Was it because of lunch?
Listen to me. Hold on. Listen to me. Right? He had detention. My son don't get in trouble. My son. We brought my son back to school down here because we still work down here. So we brought our children back down here because traveling back and forth where we live
Just didn't
now,
make sense.
it just didn't make sense, right? So my daughter goes to Detroit School of Performing Arts, great school. One of my oldest daughters graduated from there in dance. Her mother still teaches there. I said, okay, understand that it's a good school, understand the academic support.
Some
You know what I'm saying?
consistency
Right,
still
some
there.
consistency there, right? And then I put my son in a middle school that I know the principal. I know the dean. He was getting his master's when I was getting my master's at UAD. I said, cool. I'm going to send him to University of Prep Science and Math, right? Middle school. Day one, my son gets slammed
Wow.
at the school. Day one, first day of school, my son got slammed
Like
by a young
old
man.
school slam.
Old school slam by a young man, right? Coming from an elementary school, he has an IEP, right? That's okay. I get it, but I ain't bring my son back down here to be in here fighting, right? My son don't even fight. Culture shock to him, right? Since he's been there, 3 incidents of bullying. Because my son is athletic.
Yeah.
He can play ball.
That's right.
A lot of kids mad.
Right.
My son is handsome. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not just tooting his horn, but dude,
Say it.
you know what I'm saying? That's my son, right?
saw me give him a hug. You saw me give him a hug.
It's gonna be like Lonzo Ball around
saw
this
me
boy,
give that
right?
boy a hug.
I just ain't gonna be selling my shoes for $495. But nonetheless, I didn't bring my son back down here for that. But I understand the culture, and I had to share that with him. But I also held the administration responsible. My son had detention. I said, man, what
did
you
he
get
get
detention?
detention?
I was talking during silent lunch.
Silent lunch.
Silent lunch.
Silent lunch?
I said, why
What is a silent lunch?
Right. I said, why? Everybody got to be quiet during lunchtime. I said, why? He said, because their lunch period, you know what I'm saying, they're too loud and there's still instruction going on in the building.
my
Wait a
goodness.
minute. So I said, wait a minute. So y'all got silent lunch because someone has the inability to manage the lunchroom? And so you give my son a detention because he was talking to his buddy? I say, when are the times during school do they have opportunity to be kids?
There is no socialization.
Right.
And then we're
So you
upset
tell 'em to be-
because they fighting all the time, but you don't give me a chance to build relationships where I value you, so I don't fight you.
Right. So you tell the kids to be quiet all day when they walk into the building. You go to class, be quiet.
I'm not doing
Go to
anything
class, be
till y'all
quiet.
sit down and be quiet.
And then you go to lunch and you tell them to be quiet.
you too loud in this hallway. Get to y'all.
So when do the kids have an opportunity to
Wow.
be kids?
Wow. Wow.
So I said,
Silent
you know
lunch.
what?
They
So
named
so I told my wife went up there, and my
I
wife.
wish I could have been there.
Right. Because
Hey,
I couldn't go.
niece.
Right. So she went up
Hey.
there. So she said, okay, well, he's going to spend lunch with you. Told the lunch supervisor, whoever was doing it, she said, my son's going to do his because he couldn't stay after one day. So the next 3 days he did silent lunch with the teacher or stayed in the room with her.
To prove.
So what are you teaching my child or anybody's child?
Not to talk, not to communicate, not to have a voice.
Or is this prison?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
You mean to tell me?
No, you only talk when I tell you can talk.
Right. We're institutionalizing our kids.
And it's not even on purpose.
Right.
And I'm going back to what you said when we first started the show. Your baby been in the school for 4 years and you've never been to a parent-teachers conference. You don't even know why they're miserable when they get home from school.
Yeah.
You don't even know why they don't want to go anymore because you've not taken the time to walk the halls, feel what the culture or the environment feels like to see if it even prepares your kids and make them hungry to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Does it destroy them or does it motivate them?
We've given up our constitutional right to a free education. Parents need to step up and their voices need to be heard because power is in the masses. But if you don't say anything, they will continue on this course of destroying academics and education of our children across the country.
This is good stuff. Hayes, I can't thank you enough, and I think I'm going to have you and niece on this next one.
Oh, yeah.
Have y'all come together and kind of tag team a little bit because a lot of the things that you made reference of, I've sat and talked to her and Rogers about some of the same things. And I'm going to a lot of us, we are in school, so we see it day to day. And some parents just won't have a chance to do that, but trust the voices of the people that see it and hear it.
Right.
Look your kids in your face and ask them, how you doing today?
Absolutely.
My parents used to ask us and wait for the answer, how was school today?
Absolutely.
You don't have to find out when they flunk out. Do you know what I'm saying?
We do that every day. How was school today?
You can't be
What'd
that
you learn
busy.
today?
You have to slow it down.
Yeah.
And you don't let them get away with saying it was okay.
Right. Tell me why it was okay.
What is okay?
Right.
Define that.
Yeah.
Well, how you feeling?
And you don't have to have a master's degree. You don't have to have, a college degree.
Yes.
I think one, you know what? I took a picture of it, and I'm because we can be here all night. But this was interesting to me, and it said graduation rates in the city of Detroit. But it said percentage with an associate's degree, 6.2, right? College graduation rate, 12.7, right? 12.7 of citizens in the city of Detroit got a college graduation, right, or graduated from college. Percentage with the graduate or professional degree, 5%.
Wow.
High school graduation rate, 77.6.
Wow.
So you don't have to have, to ask these questions to your kids. You don't have to be a scholar. You know what I'm saying? It's to talk to your child and figure out what's going on in the day. And in the hopes of that, especially, parents, man, fathers, we need to step up, man. Whenever you have that conversation, I definitely need to come back, man. But man, y'all, it's time to step up.
That's right.
It's time to claim
whether they
your
got the
right.
money or not.
Absolutely.
Some people won't step up when they don't have any money in your pocket. But what you got is,
man, this the thing about it.
They need diapers.
Some of these babies,
they need you too.
And I'm gonna be honest. Some of these young parents, mothers, don't even want child support.
Too much connected to it.
Man, they don't even go down there and bother with it. So what's your excuse?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? There is none.
Ooh.
You have to raise your children. A mother can only do so much. My mother couldn't raise. She can only teach me things that she only knew how, but she couldn't teach me how to be a man.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So, we got to step up, man. And it's so unfortunate because now these young men are so overly sensitive and emotional that they're starting to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And hurt these young girls,
Yeah.
man. So, we got a lot of work to do. I'm in it. I'm at the grassroots level. You at the grassroots level. If we don't do it, who's going to do it?
That's right. And God preserved us for this.
Yes.
I believe that's why we made it through some of the things that we made it through because this was His will for our life. He could trust us that we would give it back.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so I'm just full from so many things. One, it's a pleasure to have you with me on tonight. I love your family. I remember when your daughter, you all were dealing with her being sick. We were all praying behind the scenes.
Amen.
But I'm going to do this one last verse. I am who I am today because God used my mistakes. He worked it for my good. like no one else ever could. God told me to tell you it was necessary.
Amen.
Everything that we've gone through in our life, I believe, has prepared us for these moments.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that we would, he could trust us even though it didn't always feel good.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's the part I want people to remember. You know, he talked about, and it was an early Saturday morning. I saw y'all getting out, going in that school,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I know what time you leave your schools.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean that we don't get tired.
No. No.
It don't mean the bed ain't calling our name some days.
Mm-mm.
But for every single person that answers that call and that charge on today, I want to tell you all thank you. And know that God is not unrighteous, that he forgets your labor of love. The Lord told me a few months ago, he says, I keep count.
Wow.
He keeps count. So he knows exactly the deposits that's been made, what it took for you to do it, how it was the best years of your youth and your life that you gave up, and he will extend your life. And with long life will he satisfy you and show you his salvation. Y'all be encouraged on the day. Hayes, my mind is just racing because there's so many pieces you could have tapped on. And I know you went, y'all, he went easy on y'all today. You hear me?
I'll be back.
Anytime somebody doodling, instead of he holding something, we're going to release him. We're going to release the beast in him. And we're going to bring his beautiful wife to assist us as well.
Yes.
So get ready. Y'all going to have to coordinate your time. Love you all. Again, this is You Can't Stop Me with Yo. Go and download the app, and it's all the other stuff that's going on. So scroll through Facebook, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on You Can't Stop Me with Yo. Thank you again, Mr. Hayes. I appreciate you being with us
appreciate
on today.
it, man.
Have a wonderful night.
You be blessed.
I appreciate it.
Try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me.
All right, y'all, to be up on y'all feet by now after everything that you've heard on today. Join us and sign in and tune in on next week, Saturday at 1 o'clock for You Can't Stop Me, where you're going to be reminded you are not out there by yourself, that there's other folks that's beating down situations even bigger than what you ever imagined. You Can't Stop Me. Join us every Saturday as you tune in at 1 p.m. Thank you and have a great day.